next dark place is really this shadow shape here. And it's an interesting shadow shape because it looks like it goes from a bright red to kind of a purpley red to kind of a browny green. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're going to see in it. We don't even know if any of us are seeing the same thing. But what you want to do is see what you see, but try to see things in their complexity. Like it's a red heart, yeah, but when you really start playing around with it, you'll see it has all the colors of the rainbow in it. So I'm going to start with a deeper red. It looks like there's a deep red around the edges. It's my quinacridone again. Get it the right consistency, and away we go. I want to test it because I really need it to be transparent. Yeah, that looks good. I see really deep red in the shadow at the two ends like this. Later on, I'll blend those shapes into something else, but for now, I'm just going to leave them like that. And then it looks like this whole thing is a pretty deep red. Later on, I'll come and put the shape in. Now I just want to get that, try to get the deepest, strongest red I can. Going to take that red because remember the rules. It goes a whole bunch of places, but hopefully I won't do it too many times. Looks like it goes there. Looks like it goes here a little bit. Sometimes I pretend I'm a fly or something and I let my brush kind of crawl around the form I'm painting, just so I can make sure to see everything. Remember, these are all glazes. Semi-transparent, we're still in the shadows and the bright areas. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but the brightest colors are also achieved with the thinnest paint. So all these super bright areas of my painting are going to be thin applications of reds. But before we add any more to that, let me get back to my shadow there. Switch to a slightly larger brush. Putting in kind of a bluey purple made out of the quinacridone red and the, oh, let's try a little manganese blue. It's over here. A little bit more. Need more of a violet. It just looks brown, not violet. Generally speaking, you want to use the fewest colors possible when mixing your glazes. The more colors involved in the mix, the less transparent and the less bright the color is when you try to use it in your painting. So if you have one of those kitchen sink colors, best to start over again. Then make a color. There's every color on your palette in it. Still, I think it's lacking the purpleness of it. I like to say oil paint is a great medium for people that make a lot of mistakes, because boy, is it true. You know, if I don't have it right, I just go back, try again till I do. I can wipe wet paint off, or I can wait for it to dry and add another layer. Either way, I always get another chance. Okay, remember you lay the paint in much heavier, much more opaque than you think it's going to need to be, because we're going to blend it. There's that scrub. I don't know if you can hear it. You'll hear it in your studio. You should. Okay, I'm going to mix a color that appears. I want to go for a slightly brighter red. Take that quinacridone, tiny bit ultramarine. Mix it up. And with our colors, the more extensive the palette, the more opportunity you have to mix every specific color under the rainbow. But with our limited palette, which we limited so you won't be spending a fortune to get started, this is probably the deepest, brightest purple I can mix. Okay. Kind of looks muggy when it goes on. Don't worry about it. Okay, we take our blender, work the edges. And I know I'm going to blend it into another color that I haven't put on yet, so I'm just going to blend it softly out. Even if you're using your hand for a blender, don't forget to clean it because a dirty thumb will mess up everything. This is oil paint, so it's still really wet. I just noticed how pale this highlight down here was, and I want to pull out that part of my underpainting just to remind myself that it's there. We end up with something like that. Checking my edges around that heart shadow, it looks like all the edges are pretty soft. Kind of soften the edges as I go along because, of course, after it's dry, our opportunity is gone to blend things. So this is a soft edge. So is this. So is that. That'll blend into another color. Okay, something. Okay, I'm going to move into the next color here. It looks like a bluer violet. Oh, by the way, I dedicate certain garments to painting, so don't be upset if you see me get paint on this one. I love painting. It's my life. I do it every day, so I like to do it in clothes that I adore. So I buy inexpensive things at the thrift shop that I actually could never wear on the street, and I wear them in my studio, and it makes me happy. So hope you'll do the same. Trying to mix that violet. Try quinacridone, red, and some manganese blue hue. Get something that looks like that. Do a color check. Ooh, I got right in the family, so it's a go. There it goes. Blender out. Clean up my edges. Try not to get too close to your painting. It's hard enough to see it objectively, but if you're sitting here working like this with your nose in it, you kind of really lose objectivity. So when you see me bob back and forth, that's basically what I'm doing, getting back far enough so I can see what it looks like as a whole, and then coming back and making corrections. See? It's still completely wet. Later, I'm going to put some more glazes on there to really make that red pop. So I'm going to pull it out. See it up here too. Okay. I just keep seeing how bright this highlight is. So I'm going to pull a little more paint out there. Get that shape. Even when you're taking paint away, you can still adjust the edges as if it were positive paint. Where you see a soft edge, go ahead and put it in. Looks like I missed some little details up there in the shadow, so I don't get too far behind in that particular area. Let me go back and put that in. Looks like there's a cast shadow down there. Just haven't bothered with it. I don't know if you'll be like me or not in that you need a way to brace your hand. If you do need a brace for your hand, go ahead and use one. No shame there. I'll use my hand or yardstick. Sometimes I'll hang a cane, like a walking cane over the top, and then I'm able to brace my arm like that. Most of the time I can just brace it with my hand. But you need control. You never want to cramp up on the brush like this and get control that way. Much better to stay back here and brace to get the control that you need. Pull out a little more white in there. Soften the edges that look too sharp. Looks like I missed something in here. There's actually a white space like that. I'm going to paint these light white spaces, of course, with the light paint that but we'll do that later. For now, I'm just marking their place because I'm still concerned with just the glazes and just the dark areas. Sometimes you'll see when you go back that you didn't get something quite dark enough. Like, I think in here, this area is generally darker in the setup than I have it. So before beginning the next step, I want to come back and see if I can lay in another layer. When working wet into wet, the layer on top will not stick to the layer underneath unless the paint itself is thicker than the wet paint underneath. So if you find yourself trying to add paint, and instead of adding paint, you're actually digging a hole in the paint that's already there, it just means that your paint is not thick enough, so it won't adhere. When that happens, you have two options. You can wait for it to dry, and then it's like starting all over again, or you can mix paint that's physically got more oil paint and less medium to make it thicker than what's underneath. All right, guys, we're done pretty much with the first two steps. We're over halfway through, and just 2 steps remain before we have a very convincing red heart.